What's up? I'm Ayla,
Hi, I'm Beth Ann.
and this is Let's Talk BL, a Boys Love podcast.
Welcome back to the podcast. We are thrilled,
Thrilled, ecstatic,
ecstatic. We're working on our vocabulary because we were just way too excited last season.
so excited.
But as always, we are thrilled because we have some special guests on the podcast today. I was introduced to these guys because as English speaking fans of BL, you're always looking for English content, and none other than Raikantopeni Philippines is truly the best place to get that content.
So true.
Please welcome our fellow fans from the Philippines, Reykantophany.
Hi
Hi
everyone.
everyone.
My name is James.
Sarika.
I'm the president and of course the host of Reykan Live Experience of Raikantopeni Philippines.
All
Ali?
right. So my name is Ali. I am the cutie human of Reykantopheny Philippines, and I am one of the co-hosts of P James during our Reykan Live Experience and Reykan Live Experience exclusives. Hi guys. I hope you're doing well right now while listening to us.
Yes.
Yes.
This is going to be fun.
So fun.
We love your energy. We try to just have fun while chatting
That's the
about
brand.
something we love.
Yes. Okay, let's jump into it. We want to play a little bit of a game. We're going to do some get to know you questions. So,
Ooh.
first up, tell me personally, how did you get into BLs and what was the first show you watched?
Ooh, that's interesting. For me, I started as a BL fan way back in 2016. So it's been a long time already since I've been a BL fan. So the first BL series that I really got to watch was Grey Rainbow. And it was my special request in the Raikan Live experience to really talk to Not and Karn because I really want to talk to them about the episode 4. Like, why did you do it to us? And that's really my special request all throughout our season in the Raikan Live experience. And it really came true. I really got to ask them why they made us all cry with Grey Rainbow. So that was a nice experience for me. And after that one, I watched a lot of BL series already up to now. So that's how I got into the world of BL. How
That's
about
such
you?
a unique intro.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one's ever answered with Gray Rainbow before, so I love that.
Yeah.
Yes, because actually one of my friends recommended that to me.
Oh,
Mm.
cool.
He said that because I always believe that we have this one friend that will really encourage you to watch BL. I'm sure a lot of a lot of people will agree with me that there is always this one friend that will tell you, please watch this. But that started with a prank. He said that Grey Rainbow was a very fun to watch
Oh,
series.
no.
It's
Oh.
very kilig. It has a happy ending, but I really didn't expect the twist in the last episode. So I cried and I moved on for about 1 month until I watched another one. So that was very, I must say, traumatic for the lack of word for me to watch that series for the first time. And
For
of
the
course,
first
it's my
one.
Yeah.
first BL series.
Understandable. Okay, Ali, what about you? Tell us.
Oh, actually, I'm a K-pop fan and also a K-drama fan, if you may ask. But well, while searching for some new dramas, I found out about Love by Chance. So that was August of 2018. That was my reawakening on the BL world. So if P James has that one friend who will influence him or tell him about BL, as for me, I am that friend who will tell my other friends that, oh, watch this because this is so good. And it's something like, this is new to my taste. It's new to my eye. Is new to my surroundings, and I really love it. And I feel like this is the right genre, or like this is a safe place for me. I feel so safe while watching it because it's very rare before to see or to watch some series or shows that will really relate to you or relate to your life, because as part of the LGBTQIA plus community, you really don't get to have that exposure on on a television, on a show. And I'm really really thankful that I really watched and found out about Love by Chance, because after that series, after that, like, my heart is really pounding every time. And then I get to watch Sotos, I get to watch Kiss Me Again. The other BL that we have in Thailand and also the other countries, I really get to explore them. And see, I'm here. I'm really welcome and I'm really safe under the rainbow. So that was my reawakening, or my entrance to the BL world. That was
Yeah.
2018 and Love by Chance. Yeah.
That's
So if
awesome.
you're the friend that is always telling people to watch BL, what's the BL you tell them to watch?
I personally told them to watch Until We Meet Again, and just
You're
like,
evil. Stop.
Hey,
I'm so sorry.
I also
I
tell
am
my
that.
friends that for me, Ali, just to get back to that one friend who told me to
Yeah.
watch Grey Rainbow, I always tell my friends whenever I talk to them about BL to watch Until We Meet Again, just to get that revenge.
Oh my
Yeah,
god. Yeah, okay,
actually.
I think that Until We Meet Again is a masterpiece. I love Until We Meet Again, but it's so traumatic. It
Yeah.
within like 10 seconds.
It's a good thing that
Correct. True.
I was like, hold off on Until We Meet Again, because I got Ayla into BLs and started her with Trapped, because like that the Taiwanese just set the bar. And then I think I went to Tarn Type because I was like, I don't know how to explain this. It's an
Actually,
experience.
So I watched History 3 Trapped first,
Yeah.
and then I watched Love Mechanics.
Oh, right. We did Love Mechanics.
But yes, she actually told me not to watch Until We Meet Again. And it
Yeah,
wasn't
'cause-
until I had other BL
Yeah.
friends that my other BL friends were like, why have you not watched Until We Meet Again yet? And so I finally watched it. And yes, I was so traumatized. But also, it's a true masterpiece.
True.
So good.
We
Yeah.
agree, yes. But the first few minutes of the show will really make you
Insane.
realize why did you even started watching.
The
Totally.
first time I watched it, I literally texted Beth Ann and I told her, I was like, I just imprinted on Kuhart because it opens and you like see him sobbing. And immediately I was like, we have to protect him. I don't know what happened to him. I don't know what somebody did to him, but we need to fix this.
Yeah.
It's-
Actually, on that very moment, on the first episode, like, I just want to go to my screen and just hug him or hug them. Like, it's fine. I'm here. Because
Oh,
that was just first episode, and I'm shocked that that that's the first scene that we're gonna watch. Like, are you serious?
Crazy.
Okay.
Okay. Love that.
We've heard about how you got into BLs. So what has now become your favorite show?
Out of all the shows, what's the number one favorite?
Ooh, that's hard to
Ooh.
answer actually because
Maybe like your go-to rewatch.
Still hard. Still
it's really
hard.
hard for I know you will agree to me, right, that it's really hard to choose from all of these stories because all of the stories that I've watched so far are really masterpieces in their own different ways.
Totally.
So if you will ask me what's my go-to BL series or the BL series that I've watched many times already, it may be um Until We Meet Again. I would go to that one because I've watched it around 5 times already since
Oh.
it even aired. So it really resonated to me, the story and how everything was, because I'm a mass comm graduate. So I really love the how everything will be laid out in a series, the cinematography. I'm more passionate of that and the story itself rather than fanboying a character. So I really love how the twists are really laid out in the entire episodes, and the acting of Fluke is really whenever he cries on the scene, I automatically cry. And I don't know why, because his eyes maybe are very expressive, and the way he throw the line, even though I don't understand it uh on the onset because it's Thai, but it really touches your heart, right? So I think for me, as of the moment, it's still Until We Meet Again.
Oh my gosh, I so agree. I'm also a communications graduate. I work in marketing in my like non-BL life. And so the story on Until We Meet Again, this is why it's a masterpiece. It's not, I mean, we're not saying that Ohm and Fluke are not beautiful. We're not saying that Boone and Plum are not beautiful, but
Truly.
the twist and just the storyline, yes, I agree. I'm so with you. And yeah, I frequently say I think that Fluke is the best crier in BL.
True.
I
Truly.
totally agree.
Because the story really is a perfect masterpiece if you'll put into it, because the story itself is the masterpiece, then of course matched with the actors, because if they cannot portray the characters really well, of course the story will not be the same or will not have the same impact as it have to me, right? So I'm really just in awe on how they really crafted the series to be emotional, and of course be heartwarming at the same time, because you can really feel the connection between the characters from the past life, and of course the Om and Fluke characters. It's just wonderful to watch.
Yeah. So, Allie, what about you? What's your favorite show out of all the shows?
Oh, my favorite show actually is Make It Right, but at the moment that really I really can see myself relate to is Theory of Love. You know,
Mm.
during that year, what everything that Third did for Kai just to show his love, like, oh my god, I can see myself to Third because way back on my high school days and my elementary days, I also did that exact things, you know. As someone who is longing for love, like, can someone love me? What should I do? Should I do this? Should I go my first move? Like, you know, you'll just get into that. And then as the day goes by, you're just getting lazy and lazy to do whatever because nothing happens, you know? But at the end of the day, after that efforts, it will really come like all that efforts will paid off, but to another person, you know, unexpectedly someone will like come to you and show the love that you deserve, because as BJ, he is a mass comm graduate, and as an arts and design student, I also do films, I also direct films, I record films for school, and actually I can really relate to Theory of Love, and that is like, you know, whenever I will watch it, before I watched it, I was crying, and now I am stronger because you know the pain that I have had before is like a lesson to me now. Like it's the lesson that I will totally learn that I will never do it again because I know I am worth it and I deserve every love that we have in this world. And Theory of Love really taught me how to love myself and to really focus on what's important, and that is self love because if you love yourself, the love that you deserve will come just unexpectedly on your time and on just unexpected place, I guess. So that's it. For me, it's a theory of love, actually.
Yeah.
I love Theory of Love.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Off, so I was always gonna love Theory of Love. But Third is such a mood. When he cries in the shower, every time I'm like,
Ayla,
me,
100%.
yep, 100% me. Such a
Like
mood.
you like just like you taking a shower and just play a song and then just like why
Yeah.
why
So relatable.
Yes, so relatable.
So good.
Okay, so last but not least, who is your favorite ship? Out of all the ships, who's your favorite couple?
I know Ali's
Very hard
answer.
question.
Ali,
Oh,
you
should I
start.
go first? Okay. So since 2018, I never really have eyes for other actors. Like to be their bias though. I appreciate every actor, but this person is really into my heart and I'm so dedicated to him. That is Ompawat. Since 2018, since 2018 up to this moment, there's a lot of talented, handsome and other BL actors, but will really have my heart. So whenever whoever um is shipped with, I'm into that because I know that they will give their 100% both. So we may have Nanon now. So I see their chemistry and I really, really love it. And I just I just hope that this will be a very perfect pair that we really need. So for me, out of the at this moment, it's none because the chemistry, the connection that they have is really chef's kiss.
So was it He's Coming to Me? That's what sold you on Om Pawat?
Yeah. Oh my God,
Me
he's
too.
coming to me.
Me
You
too.
know, I before I started watching Make It Right, and that was the one that I'm so hooked up with him. And then I started to watch Until We Meet. Sorry, he's coming to me, and on that year there is no literally same day subtitles, so I just really waiting for a week just to watch another episode. If you can relate to me,
Yeah.
you know, finding source of English translation is very hard. So it takes me a week to really finish the series, and then I watched The Jew, I watched Shipper, I watched just like where is. I really support him because that's how I show love for him. So yeah, it was just like and whoever with him is my ship.
Yeah, I'm
I
with
like
you.
that.
I would die
Me
for
too.
Om probably. He's wonderful. Yes. He moves me.
He
He
does.
moves me.
Really, I'm just out of words for him. I just want to
He's
cry.
pretty great. He's pretty great.
We like him.
We're fans.
We're fans.
Yeah.
Okay, James,
True.
what about you? What about you?
Before I even proceed with my answer, Ali really bought all of the merchandise of the Bod Body the series
Oh,
because
I'm
it's
so
that
Oh,
sorry.
we bought some merch.
Yeah,
Oh, we
yeah.
bought some merch.
We got the merch coming for sure.
because
Like
it's really passionate.
the same day that GMMTV dropped the merch for Bud Buddy as a series, I really just like out of my head. It was midnight, and okay, check out. And then the same day, I just paid it. It was
You
like,
know,
Worth it.
you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
True. That's how passionate Ali is when it comes to and
Love it.
He's been asking that in our Raika Lab experience to really have pawat. So Ali, you should watch out for it for this year.
man.
But anyways, for me, if you will ask me who is my favorite couple, it would really be Mew and Golf. So that's my main ship. Of course, I have a lot of ships. That's what BL fans do. We ship a lot, so we have a lot of ships. But for me, it's really Mew and Golf because the Tarn Type the series really um made an impact to me because I have few friends who has the same character as Type who don't like gays, and it really resonated to me that the characters, the story itself, and how they opened up with each other. There is one episode in the entire series which really touched my heart, which is the episode, I think it's 6, if I'm not mistaken. The one that Type realizes that he cannot sleep with a girl and tried to make it up with Mew. That's the episode that I really keep on watching and watching all over again because that's the I think that's the whole plot twist of the series, or the climax of the series, wherein he realizes that he is finally in love with someone of the same sex, and it really is love that you feel, and I don't know, they are just magical together as a couple. But of course, I have a lot. The second one is really Chris and Singto. So,
Okay.
um,
Nice.
you know,
Yeah,
we ship a lot.
Mugolf really like set the ship bar standard. Like
Yeah.
that Mugolf was I got into when I first got into BLs, and I was just like in awe of them. They
Yeah.
really like know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They understand the assignment is what we like to say.
Yes.
For fully.
Fully.
Okay, we've gotten to know you guys a little bit better. Thanks for answering our questions. So now we're going to get into questions kind of about Reykantophany and about what you guys
Ooh.
do. So, how did you guys get started with Reykantophany?
Because you have two very different experiences with Reykantophany.
Yeah.
So we want to hear both sides.
All right. So for me, since I started the entire organization or the community or the family here at Raikantopeni Philippines, we started as because I also work for marketing here in the Philippines. And my best friend, which is Mar, I hope he's here. He's also working at the corporate world. So both of us are working in a corporate world. I work for Jollibee. I don't know if you know it or
Oh,
if
yeah.
there's
Oh, we
Jollibee.
do.
Yeah.
If there's Jollibee there in
There is.
There is.
so I work for Jollibee as a marketing officer, and Mar is working for one of the biggest mall brands here in the Philippines. So basically, we did Reykantopheny Philippines because we just want to get out of our corporate sleeves and then just let our heart out, because when you're working for the corporate world, you are really boxed to be who you are. Like, they package you to be like this, tells you to do this, do that. But BL really paved the way for us to just express who we are and what we love to do, and being passionate about stories. Since both of us are classmates before in mass communications, we are really passionate about giving our views, giving our insights. When we watch a series, after that we take a 1 hour talk just to share our thoughts, our feelings with the series. And then I told Mar, why not we open a space, a safe space for the both of us to really speak out about what we feel. So we started the page. Mar agreed. We created the page, and then when Mar asked me, what will we name the page? So I immediately said, because I'm from marketing, so I said it should be something that is um that you have this recall, or that will be reminded of you of the series. That's where Reykantophany really started. So we started that, shared our thoughts, and then afterwards we were just shocked that people keep following us. Our community gets bigger and bigger every single day. In just 1 week, we are at our 5,000 followers, and then another week, 10,000 followers. It was just crazy. So we told ourselves that we need more people to be with us, to share their passion about BL. And I think that's where Ali and the rest of the 38 people behind RP really went in to help us do all of this for everyone.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's similar to kind of why we started the podcast too, where we talk about this stuff
To each other.
to each other. Surely maybe people want to listen to us talk about this thing.
Maybe not. We
Maybe
just kind of
not.
wanted to like yell at the internet
Yeah, because
about
we also were into K-pop, so we were like, our voices, like older fangirl voices, are missing from that conversation. And so when we got into this, we were like, there's definitely something to be proud of when you watch these shows. So we were like, let's tell people that it's cool to watch BL.
Right. We realized that people
Yeah.
were like ashamed of it. They
Yeah.
wanted to keep it a secret that like I can't tell people I watch BLs.
Yeah.
And we decided
And I literally tell everybody.
Yeah. And so we decided, well, that's dumb.
Yeah.
And we're not going to be ashamed of it, because when you put that, like, when you're like keeping it a secret, you're saying it's shameful. You're saying that like the
Yeah, yeah.
stories aren't normal, right? Like that is what you're saying when it's your guilty pleasure.
Right.
And so we were like, well, what if we just talk about it, because it's not a guilty pleasure. It's
Yeah.
just a thing you like.
People love it.
Yeah.
Okay, Alli, what about you? How did you get involved with Reykantophany?
So I started with Reykantopheny Philippines just as a follower on their I think 30,000 followers when they announced it. We're on our 30,000 followers, and I'm one of that. I'm one of them. Then I found out about Reykantopheny Philippines University, And then I enrolled as a student, which is free. I
Oh,
belong to the faculty of MuGov because on that time I really hooked on Taryn Type, and that was the running show on that year, where I met a lot of people who has the same interest and passion when it comes to BL. And then Raikantopeni Philippines just posted that they're hiring for a position for BL review expert position. And then I said to myself, this is it. So I grabbed that opportunity and try my luck. And now I'm here. I'm with our Reykantophany Philippines for 1 year and a month already and still enjoying things that I have been doing since day one. And now talking to you guys made me like go back on that time where I just so shy. I don't have that much confidence to talk to people to face on a camera, and I'm really really thankful to P James and to the rest of Reykantophany Philippines for bringing out the best in me, because that was really like you're not gonna see, I think, to the other community. Like they'll just okay to what you're giving, but they're not willing to really push you to your limits and be the best that you are. So I'm really, really thankful for I Can Top in the Philippines and P James as our mentor. So that's how I get involved to I Can Top in the Philippines. That was such unforgettable moment.
I don't believe that you were ever shy to talk to people. I don't know if I believe this.
I
Please
also
believe
cannot believe
me.
it.
Because I was so because before I was so scared to P James. Like, okay, P James is here, so let's act normal, let's act calm. And then whenever he will talk to you, I'll just like feel like, okay, how do I talk to him? How do I address him? Like, the shyness that I have, then I told myself that you will not gonna go to your dream if you're shy. So go out of your shell and be just Ali. Just be Ali. Just be who you are, because that's what people will love you, right? For being just who you are and not gonna filter what's your attitude, what is your favorite. You do not filter that, because at the end of the day, it's you that you're fooling yourself, right? So I said to myself, let's just be real and let's get it out, because that will people will love you. And I think our Rikans love me.
that's awesome.
Yeah. So, okay, one thing we want to get into is the culture around BLs in the Philippines, because we kind of know, right? We said that for the at least all of the fans that we know in America and Europe and in the West that we talk to that are our listeners, it's almost like you keep it a secret a lot of the time. And so we have seen this like explosion of Pinoy BLs coming out, but at the same time, we see the sort of culture reflected in the BLs that maybe it's not as mainstream as we think it is as international fans consuming it. So tell us about like what is the culture around BLs in the Philippines? How does the general public approach it? How do the fans approach it? What is that like?
For me, being a fan since 2016, the community at that point for BL is very small. Since for us, since we are a very conservative country, um, it is like a, how do I call it? As what I've mentioned earlier, if in Encanto there is what we don't talk about Bruno. Here in the Philippines, we don't talk about BL that much during those period. But 2020 really paved the way to open up the conversation and to really talk about BL. I think for the Philippines, since it's the pandemic, it really allowed people to explore a lot of a lot of stories, right, aside from the normal stories or the regular stories that they often watch in a series here in the Philippines. It really paved the way to let them watch other kind of genres and really make it to a point to open up the conversation about boys love, because before it was really hard to explain to everyone. And you are right when you said that we keep it a secret. And even up to now, there are people who are still not that confident talking about BL and really not comfortable about talking it in the general public. because of course there are still people who don't really appreciate what the story is all about, because at the end of the day, regardless of whoever is on screen, like what gender he or she has, the story matters. The what do you call it, the plot of the story, or what the story is trying to tell us, that's what matters to us. So there. And then, but 2020, as what I've mentioned, really is the gateway to BL here in the Philippines, when our mainstream media talks about it already. uh right now we have GMM TV series in our television sets airing, and of course in one of the biggest streaming platform here in the Philippines, which is I Want TFC. So that's where the Pinoy dubbed GMM TV series is aired. So after that one, there are a lot of production houses already exploring the BL genre, like of course with the names of Game Boys, the Gaya sa Pelikula, and other BL series. And I think right now we have a lot of BL series already here in the Philippines. It's just a span of 1 year or 2 years, almost 2 years. So that really is for us, for me as the president of RP, that's really a conversation starter. And but there are still people, of course, again, who, like for example, whenever this mainstream media here in the Philippines, ABS-CBN posted or post about the series, if you look at into the comments, there are still people who are not open to the conversation. They say they are saying that people kissing, the same sex kissing, it's like they're talking about this, all of this toxic things about
Yeah.
this kind of series. But at the end of the day, again, it's really the story, or the deeper message that this story tells us. So that's what matters for us as PL fans. And we are the for me, our goal in RP is to really try to like be the bridge for those kinds of fans to open up, and of course um like be warm about the genre, the poison of genre, because it's really magical and wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah. You talked a little bit just about the different Pinoy BLs that have come out in the last like year or two. And of course, with the rise of Game Boys, especially because it's on Netflix and it's so accessible and it getting, international award nominations and all that kind of stuff. So have you guys seen more of an international fan base coming to Raikantopeni and like interacting with you guys? And has that been surprising? And
Right, because you do the fan interactions, so
Yeah.
you must see where in the world everyone is signing
Yeah.
up from.
Our Raikans are all over the world, actually.
All over.
um but of course most of our fans comes from Asia, the Asian region. Like we are shocked when we had the Indonesian fans joining us for the Raikan live experiences or interacting with us in the comment section, because I think same as with us, Indonesian fans are or the Indonesia as a whole is still a conservative country when it comes to BLs. So we were shocked that we have Indonesian fans, of course, Malaysian fans as well, and Thailand fans. Then for the other regions, we also have from USA, Mexico. Whenever we get to talk to them during the Raikan live experience, because we have a pre-show that's a 1 hour show prior to the actual interview with the guest artist. So that's a time that we talk to them and really get to know them on a deeper level. Because for us, listening to our Raikans is very valuable for us as an organization and as a brand, because getting to know them and getting what they want really makes our activation better every single time. And talking to them is something that I always look forward to, and getting to know them as well. So those are the kinds of fans that we have for Top in the Philippines, and it's so good that we are keep on like spreading across the world, and it only shows that people are now like talking about the genre, and that's our one of our mission, and of course making people happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you find yourself seeing a trend where people are starting to request more Pinoy BL interviews, because we know you focus on, obviously Raikantopeni, on the Thai BLs, but with this explosion, like you were talking about, of these Pinoy BLs, and it's only been almost, a little over a year, and we have all these coming out, right? With Game Boys and Quarren, things did really well, and we've got Rainbow Prince coming out. Like with all of these new shows coming out, do you see from the Raikans more requests for like Pinoy content, or are they still mostly like they want those traditional boys?
Um, I'll answer Ali, or you'll answer the question.
Okay, you go first.
Okay. So as for me, the way I see it, because we've done last year, during the June period, or during the month of June, we've done a lot of Pinoy BL interviews. We've done an interview with Ian Pangilinan and Paolo Pangilinan for Gaya sa Pelikula, Alec and Kevin for Boys Lockdown, the series, Kim and Migs of their series, their newest series. We've done that because June is the celebration of the Philippines for Independence Day. So we attribute that month for Pinoy BLs. So we will
Yeah.
also be doing that for this year. But for 2022, for us in RP, we are ready to open up the community to other kind of stories from different countries. So we have this theme for the entire year, world domination. So we'll already be opening up to other countries for which produces BL, like of course Taiwan, Japan, Korea is already starting their series in the BL
Yeah.
world. So
Yeah, we saw
Singapore.
y'all did Alfred and David. We also had Alfred and David. I am probably Alfred's biggest fan
Truly.
on this planet.
Truly.
It wouldn't be an episode of Let's Talk BL if I didn't randomly bring up Alfred.
For
so
sure.
thanks
Or
for giving
Summer
me the
Days.
door for that.
Yeah, yeah.
True, because
Actually,
uh, when we had a chance to talk to Alfred and David, they are so cute together, and their families are already connected as well. So you can really see the connection more than being on-screen partners, because that's what I appreciate when talking to the guest artists, because you will really see that they're more than just their characters. They are friends. They are very close friends, or hopefully maybe more than that. But
let's hope.
so
That's
you
They're
ship
friends.
life.
Maybe they want to kiss.
Yes.
so you can really see their true self whenever you conduct interview, and it's not just the actors talking, but it's them talking, like they're not pretending to be who they are during interview. So that's what I appreciate most when talking to our favorite BL couples.
Yeah, so that leads into, we love you guys' experiences that you have that include fans in talking to their favorite artists. So who has been your personal favorite interview to do?
Oh,
Yeah, who were
like
you most excited about? Who were you like?
Yeah.
Because we have had a few. Of course, our interview with Ompua and Nanan
Yeah.
Korapat just came out, and I mean, like truly,
Pinch
the two of
ourselves,
us
it makes
both
no
like.
sense. Ja first was like pretty amazing.
Yeah, and for me, it was when first like Pavel got me. I didn't
Yeah.
think he was
Miggy,
gonna.
when we interviewed Miggy from Game Boys, because we have these mugs that we like drink from, I was like, I went to go pick it up and I was like, I can't hold this mug. I need to put it down. I was so nervous, and I didn't know how nervous I would be for Miggy.
So we assume the same is true
Yes.
for you.
So tell us who
Who gotcha?
For this, it was like who I'm most excited in the future, right? Um, for me, just like what I'm talking about lately, earlier, I would love to have Omnon on our platform too, because who knows? Because as as admins, we actually don't know what our gatherings and engagement team has in store for us, and also for our Rikans, because they really want to shock the world, and also just to give us a little more, because that makes us excite more, because they are the ones who really do the work with P James, also with them, and the surprise, the feeling that they have is really on that, because whoever who will gonna be on the show, it will be gonna be a 100%. It was so fun. But for me, I'm most excited to interview Omnon too, because let's hope for that, PJ. I'm also hoping for that because I'm so excited. Let's fingers crossed. That was one, and then let's follow it with Earth Mix, maybe with Ponpuin. Why not, right? Because
Yeah.
it's all about just giving a happy moment to every fans and also Rikans, because that was our goal since day one, is to make people happy and to make all of the fans happy, because as BL fans, I'm so excited to that. So
Yeah.
none for me, I'm
Is
so
is
most
there
excited to
anyone
interview.
is there anyone that you have already interviewed that beforehand you were like, "Oh my god."
Oh, my first one, that was, I think, Jaffers. Jaffers is really, got me, because after first, it comes with Jaffers, and the connection between them, the chemistry that they have is really something that I'm really looking forward, and also they really got me. I'm so hooked to that, and I really cannot forget that interview with them.
Yeah, same for us.
Yeah.
I think I was so excited when we got to talk to John first because we all just talked about it Until We Meet Again. I'm a huge P Sin fan. P Sin and Until We Meet Again, I think is the most underrated character. I love him. And so when we got to talk to him, I was like, P Sin, I'm gonna talk to P Sin. I was so excited.
Yes.
So,
True.
what about you? Since you're on the team and you get to plan, who are you most excited to maybe interview in the future? And was there anyone that you were like, oh my God, about?
For me, since we have a lot of interviews already as of the moment, I think 30, right, Ali? 30 couples that guested our that really went to our show. It's really hard to choose who among them is like the most unforgettable one. But I'm speaking as the head of RP right now. So for
No.
me, the first I have two favorites actually. The first one is with and Fluke because I've mentioned earlier that I really love Until We Meet Again, and I really asked them because that's our first Raikan Live Experience exclusive, which is the paid version of the Raikan Live Experience. So the RLX is the simulcasted in our Facebook page, while RLXC is just for ticket holders, or it's an exclusive experience for them. So when we had that interview, I really asked them why they made us cry for almost every episode of the series, and I got to ask Fluke to do the pidin, which is very the highlight of the entire interview, because there are a lot of people when we announced that there are a lot of people who asked us in our social media accounts to ask Fluke to do it live. So
P-Dean.
yeah, we
Indeed.
had that chance to see him say to let him say Pidin
What was
on that
his
show.
reaction to that? Did he understand that it was iconic, or did you had to explain to him that
Yes,
this is actually so iconic to fans? Did he know?
yes, he actually know,
He
and
knew.
he laughed when I asked him because we've done that in the segment which we call Tagalog, wherein we teach them Tagalog words, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
that's the last thing that I let them say, or I let Fluke said, because I explained to him that we hear it a lot every time, and then when he ever whenever says it on screen, we were like gushing for him. So he laughed because he knows that it's an iconic line for him, and then he was just game for it and really said Pidin
Love
live.
it.
So all of the people
Okay.
in the in the Zoom call was shouting at the comment section. If I just turn their microphones, sure they're all shouting their hearts out.
Love it. I
It's
love it.
memorable for me. If you will ask me why is it memorable for me, because it's the first Raikan Live Experience exclusive, and at the same time because we don't have we as a right for those who bought the tickets, we don't post it anywhere because it's their show, it's for them. So we were shocked when we look at the trending topics on Twitter. It reached number 4
Wow.
in Thailand. So we were just, what, it's an exclusive interview, but it reached the number 4 spot, and people were talking about it and how successful the event was. And for us in RP, it's really magical. So for me, the second one, if I may talk about it,
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
the second one is with Bilkin and PP because
Oh,
that trended number two
the
in both
dream.
The dream.
Philippines
It's
and
truly
Thailand.
the
BKPP.
dream.
Oh,
Yeah, because actually we had this partnership with one of the streaming platform here in the Philippines. We were fortunate enough to be trusted by brands who talks about, of course, this media who talks about BL already here in the Philippines, and we have a partnership with them, which is Pop TV. We are very grateful for Pop TV, and we were just shocked when the one that I talked to in Pop TV mentioned to me that you'll be having an interview with Bilkin and PP. And I was like, what? Are you for real? Then he said, yes, it will be on, I forgot the date, Ali, but it will be next
Actu-
week. So I think it only took us 24 hours or 48 hours to prepare for the show.
yeah.
And we were all like, of course, we were excited, but can we take the pressure as a team? Because we know for a fact that Bilkin and PP that time there are Told Sunset About You and I Yeah. Promise You the Moon is really a big hit and is
And
really
even
being talked.
now.
And even
Yeah.
now, yeah.
Yeah.
And even now, they're but that time that's the peak of the entire buzz or the news about the series that is really the coming out of age. And we mentioned to ourselves, can we do it? Can a BL community do it? Right? So because there are two interviews in that day. The first interview, the first live interview is with ABS-CBN, with MJ Felipe. He also interviewed Omen Nanon.
Yeah.
And then the next interview will be our interview, which is their
Yeah.
final leg. Because for that day, they had the chance to meet with Philippine media, but it's an exclusive, like, one-on-one interview with the Philippine media. But ours is a live show, so we have to put a lot of like effort to really bring out the best in our team because it's either we make it or we break it. So
Yeah.
Well, and
yeah,
there's so much pressure too, I think, because you guys are fans and we're also fans, right? So we are a part of our community that we
yeah.
talk to, which is very interesting. And I can't even, I can kind of imagine this is what kind of just happened with us with
Yeah.
Ohm and Nan. And
I'm
we
really
had
glad we're not
very,
live.
yeah, I'm so glad we're not live. But I remember we didn't have very much time between the time that Omen, that GMMTV confirmed Omen Nanon for us, and we
Yeah.
were it was a pretty short time window between the time they said, okay, it's going to be on this day, and we were like, okay, all right.
But yeah, there is like a huge pressure.
You feel pressure because you represent the fans.
Yeah.
And so
True.
we, at least for us, we understand we're representing not just Ayla and not just Beth Ann,
Yeah.
but every single one of our listeners and and so I know I don't know if it's the same for y'all, but and we both feel so much pressure that we have to do right by the fans.
Yeah.
We have to do them
true,
And
justice.
and
true.
also, just to share on what Pigeon says during our BKPP live, I was so nervous on that day, not because it's live, but because it's raining cats and dog really
Correct.
heavy on that day, and I was so nervous. Like, is my
The
internet connection gonna
internet.
make
Oh my
it?
God.
Am I what is it gonna go like out of the electricity, it's it's so heavy rain, and I'm so nervous on that day, and I'm just really praying like, oh, I need to do this, we need to do this, we need to get through this, please let us pass this day without having internet connection cut, like, on that day I was so nervous, and then after that day I really just breathe deeply. And I just like, PJs, I'm so nervous because it's raining heavy here in our province, and I'm so thankful that we get to pass that day, and that's also one of the memorable and unforgettable moments that we have.
Yeah,
Amazing.
and I think the pressure behind having Philippines in our name, that puts a lot of pressure because we understand that we are not just representing Raikantopeni, but the Philippines itself. And
Philippines.
Philippines fan are very like very focused at that time because many are really watching us
Yeah.
during that entire live interview, and we prepared early. I think we woke up at around 7 a.m. The interview is at
Yeah.
5
Yeah.
because during that time we have two interviews, 5 p.m. for PK and PP, and then by 8 p.m. it will be with Tong and Minnie of Kin
Yeah.
Porsche series.
Mhm.
So I told everyone, let's just get up early and then let's prepare for both interviews. Then of course we have to be on standby because anytime of the day we might be early when it comes to airing the show because of course we also want PK and PB to rest early as well. So but luckily we started I think on time, right, Ali? So
Yeah.
um we were just pressured at that time because that's really a make or break for us in RP. But fortunate enough that we were able to pull out such an amazing show because at the end of the day, I reminded everyone that we are not doing this for ourselves. We are not doing this for Reykantopheny Philippines. We are doing this for the fans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And really bridging the fans to their guest artists is our main goal and make them happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's our one of our mission here in RP is to really make people happy because we believe that happy BL fans is equals to happy Rygans.
Nice. So,
So
what would be your dream interview
yeah.
for you, James?
For me, my dream interview would be with Mew and Golf
Yeah.
because I mentioned that they are our it's my main ship. So I really want to ask them questions
So
about
many
the
We say
questions.
that all the time. We're like, I have so many questions.
So many questions.
True. I
I
also
agree
have
to
a lot
that.
of questions to them, but of course that's my dream interview. As of the moment, we don't have yet the chance in Top in the Philippines, but hopefully soon, we'll have the chance to talk to Mew and Golf.
Yeah. So you mentioned, Filipino fans and they're very focused. What we have found, so when we did initially Game Boys, we were really shocked to have a bunch of Filipino fans kind of come to our channel and pay attention to the podcast and listen to what we were saying because we just hadn't experienced that before. And one thing we found was that honestly, it was the nicest community. The every single person was so welcoming and just friendly and nice, and it was a really great experience for
Yeah.
us. I think we say all the time that like the Filipino fan community is probably our favorite because it's just so welcoming.
Yeah.
At least
Yeah.
that's been our experience. And so I'm really curious, can you guys tell us more about just Filipino culture in general? Like how would you describe your culture to Americans, to other Western fans that maybe don't know too
Oh.
much about the country, about the
Okay.
culture?
I think I'll go first. We for me, if correct me if I'm wrong, but the Philippines is a culture in which is meets West. The Filipino people have a distinct Asian background with a strong Western tradition. The modern Filipino culture developed through influence from a lot of countries. Like we're engaging with Thailand, Cambodia, Korea, because here in our community in the BL world, we get to meet a lot and to discover a lot, right? So Filipino people tend to be very hospitable. If I will describe it to an international fan, Filipino people tend to be very hospitable to every international fan. Also, what's more important to us is the family is the most important aspect of a Filipino culture because the family is the safest net for individuals, especially if you're like a visitor. We will not gonna treat you as a visitor. We're gonna treat you as one of our family member because considering someone as your family member makes you comfortable. You're more than friends with us, and the warm love that the Filipino have for the other countries is, you know, very obvious. Just like what you said, it's very obvious. Like for me on my own, I think Filipinos are the best fans in the world, if I may say. you know, and for me, that was how I describe the culture of the Philippines to every international fans. Yeah.
I certainly agree with Ali when he mentioned that Filipinos are really hospitable, and I agree with him saying that our culture is East meet west, because if you research the background of the Philippines or the history of the Philippines, we were colonized by several countries, so we have their cultures in our tradition as of this day. So it's really about like fans in the Philippines are very supportive with each other, but at the same time, they are your best critics. So that's why we said earlier during the question about BKPP, it's a lot of pressure for us because we can have positive comments from them if we do it right, but we can also get quick feedbacks from them if we don't do it right. So that's how like supportive the Philippines is, and as you mentioned, you really love talking to them because they are so interactive. We are very warm and friendly because if you visit the Philippines, as what Ali mentioned, if you are not from here, if you'll ask us where to eat, where to go, what places to visit, we might invite you actually to go with us, right? So that's how hospitable we are, and we really want everyone to be comfortable even though you're not from the Philippines.
I love
And
that.
the family culture, as what Ali mentioned, is really tight, very close. I think we got it from the when the Spanish people colonized us, because I can see it in their dramas as well, that they have this tight bond with their family, and they have this like what do you call this? They really care about their family and the well-being of each family member. So that's how I describe the culture in the Philippines. And of course, aside from the culture, we have a lot of things to be, of course, proud of, like our sites here in the Philippines and etc. I hope you come visit the Philippines soon so the
Yeah.
full
It's on the
experience
list.
is
It's
worked
on the
out.
top of our list.
As
And
soon as it's safe to travel again,
we
yes.
clearly are going to be like just staying with you guys, and you guys are going to like take us out to dinner,
Sure.
right? Like
Right,
True.
where
is that how it
James
works?
and Allie are y'all are gonna be our like tour guides,
Yeah,
right?
one
When
of
we
my
show up.
Yes.
one of my favorite dishes is adobo. I have one of my best friends is
Ooh.
Filipino, and every time we're together, she makes adobo, and I like it's life changing, truly.
Oh, if I may
True.
ask, what is specific adobo that is your favorite? Is it chicken or is it pork?
She makes pork. It's funny
Pork.
because
Ooh.
in the States it's hard to find the right cut of pork because you have to use, I
Correct.
think, pork butt is like her go-to. And so when I lived in South Jersey, she would come visit, and you're not going to find that cut of pork in South Jersey. But when she came to visit me for Thanksgiving this past year, we went to like this Asian supermarket, and they literally had every cut of the pork that you could buy. And she like found the pork butt, and I think she made like 2 pounds of it, and we like froze it. We also made like the spring rolls that
Yeah,
you guys
that's my
make.
favorite. I forget the
Shanghai.
word.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it was
Shanghai.
yes, I personally
Shanghai.
made them. She taught me.
Oh, I'm
So
very
yes.
impressed.
So what is y'all's favorite food, Filipino food that you can share with fans?
For me, I must agree with
Wow.
you. For me, it's adobo. I really
Yeah.
love adobo. My mom cooks the best adobo ever. So if you'll visit the Philippines, I'll bring you some. I'll let my
Amazing.
mom cook it for you. So that's my favorite. And aside from that, sinigang, because it's like
Yeah.
very what? How do I describe it? Even Ali,
Yeah,
it's like
describe it to us because right when the reason we ask this question is when you watch like the shows, the BLs, you see them eating all this food and you don't know what it tastes like. So tell us,
Ooh.
what is it and what does it
So
taste like? That's what we're dying to
for,
know.
for sinigang, it's I think sour. It's very best variant when it's pouring rain. You know, the hot soup that you have on the table, the hot rice. Whenever you eat it, the taste of sour soup really just made your heart full. Like whenever you like that, it's like
Love.
heaven feels. It also can be a chicken or pork, but it's best with pork. And it comes with some green leafy vegetables like kangkong. Oh, I think you can also have fish on that sinigang. It's the best when it's raining or for me when I was sick before when I was a child, that was my go-to soup that was my grandmother always give me whenever I am sick, it's sinigang. So it's sour. It's very so
Oh.
good on the mouth. Oh, I'm watering right now.
We made you hungry. We're sorry.
Yeah. Okay,
Hungry.
so as for me, my favorite Filipino food, my all-time favorite Filipino food is suwam mais. Yeah, it's a
Ooh.
dish here in our province. I think it's not. Whenever I ask my friends from my Manila, they are not familiar with it.
I'm
So
also not
it's in.
familiar with it, Ali. I also don't know
Oh,
what
so
Ooh,
I
restaurant.
will.
everybody's learning
I
something
love
now.
this.
Yeah.
Okay, I will tell you about my favorite food. It is a kapangpangan soup made of a fresh, native white corn with a shrimp, chicken, or pork and leafy vegetables in it. It also known as ginisang mais. So it's a corn or sinabawang mais. In other regions of the country, that they will call it sinabawang mais. But did you know it is also best paired with blue mackerel scad with some vinegar as your dip. So imagine eating some corn soup with a Filipino twist. It's very chef's kiss.
Oh my gosh, I
Oh,
love
I
it.
know.
Allie should be like head of tourism for the Philippines.
You really should.
I feel like
You-
I want to get on a plane right now and
We're-
go visit.
we recently
Okay, on your
discovered. Yeah, we're as soon as it says the Philippines first stop.
Yeah.
But we recently discovered in the city that we live, there's this little like Filipino part of town, and there's a Jollibee there. But apparently, there's also like a specifically a Filipino supermarket and a few other Filipino restaurants. We haven't been yet, but because we recently discovered it, because we were like, we need to go to the Jollibee. And that's when we just, because it's all there, and we were like, okay, we have to come back now.
What's your favorite Jollibee food?
That's a really hard question. I think okay, I will say the most interesting food that I didn't like at first, but then it grew on me was the spaghetti because it's so
Ooh,
different.
sweet.
I
Yeah.
was so, like it was confusing for me. The first time I ate it, I was like, I don't know about this. But then I found myself going back because we ordered like kind of it comes in kind of a big tray.
Mhm.
And but I found myself going back and eating more. And I was like, oh, okay. Maybe okay. All right.
For for us in the Philippines, the spaghetti is actually a kid's meal. That's why it's
Oh,
supposed to be
I have
sweet.
child's
tracks.
taste. It's fine.
That
I'm young.
tracks.
I'll take it as you're calling me young. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, because um kids really love sweets here in the Philippines. We have the sweet tooth as well here in the Philippines, so we love sweets. So we are sweet as well as a person. But kidding aside, the taste profile of the spaghetti is really patterned to the Filipino palate. That's why I think some of the people outside our country is sometimes confused because they are used to the other type of spaghetti, but ours is quite different. The sauce is the one driving the sweetness and at the
Yeah.
same time the cheese.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was an interesting experience, but I was like, oh, maybe, oh, okay. It was one of those like shocking things that it
Yeah,
was like,
I haven't had much Jollibee. We actually went in New York City. We were looking for dessert, and I think we had like the purple something or other. It was something purple. I
Halo
don't
halo.
Halo halo.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I haven't eaten like the general food there. So when we go try it, we'll definitely have to like check
Yes.
those things out.
Yeah, and
Okay.
if you visit the Philippines, since I'm from Jollibee, anything on the menu, just say it to me, then I'll buy it for you.
It's hot
perfect.
on T James.
Yes.
We
Love
apparently
that.
have made best friends.
Best
That's like
friends.
the goal of our
Yes.
show is to become best
We just want to
friends.
make friends with people.
Yeah.
Is our whole thing.
I love it.
So okay, let's talk about some stuff that gets maybe lost in translation when we watch Filipino shows because so for me, and this has been so interesting for me as an experience, and not to harp on Game Boys, but we do have a deep love for Game Boys. when you watch Game Boys the series, they say this word "charot" as like a joke, like oh, I'm just joking. I probably pronounced that wrong. I'm sorry. I do my best. And I didn't know until I watched Game Boys the movie, and there's a plot point in the movie where one of the characters, Gabriel, says the word, and his aunt says, "You can't say that, somebody might think you're gay." And I was like, this whole time I was watching the show and I just thought it meant joke. Like I just thought, oh, I learned this, Tagalog word and that's cool. And so I'm really curious to know, you guys as Filipinos, what are some things that you think are like that maybe get lost in translation for the international fans in terms of context when watching Pinoy BLs?
So I'll answer first the
Okay, okay.
chagot thing, right? Then Ali, you can also explore that gets lost in translation. So basically, charot is a Filipino slang here in the Philippines, oftenly used by the LGBTQ plus community or the gays. So they have this what they call as the Becky language, wherein they always, like, for example, if they say that they are hungry, they say Tom Jones and things like that. So they often change the way they say things. And then charot is part of that. It means just kidding. But for us right now, charot is being used even not just by gay people, but almost all of the
Yeah.
Filipinos right now. But of course, as what it portrayed in the Game Boys, the movie, that the aunt of the character really mentioned that someone will tell you you're gay because old people are the older ones are not yet open to the conversation because
Yeah.
again they're still conservative. But most people nowadays, even my friends who are straight people, say charot or char. That's the shorter term of charot. So we say that, like, it it's not something very it's not a taboo word. So
Yeah.
we just say it. So I think there's nothing wrong with saying charot for me. Ali.
Yeah. For me, just to add to Pigeons, I definitely agree with him. It was like those old people that we have here in the Philippines are the ones who really it's so hard for them to really explain what is this and what is that because they always have that in their mindset. Like that's what you said. Some people might think you're gay, but for me, it's already 2022, and I think everyone should be open to this kind of conversation and also be welcome to what our topic is, like the new words, the new trend, you'll be on that because we're not gonna be always here in our world. So I say like YOLO, just you only live once. Let's enjoy things and enjoy learning new things. So I think that every time that you watch Pinoy Bill, it's actually the real happenings in the Philippines, like the real scenarios that we're always facing. But just like what I said, it's already 2022. So why not learn new things and just accept that love is love and love is meant to be shared and to be shown by everyone, right? And just to add, right? So whenever someone just said, "Oh, you're gay for saying this," "Oh, you're gay for dressing like that," but it's just who you are expressing yourself, right? It doesn't mean that you wear a dress, you're already gay, but it's how like you portray yourself or just to express what you're feeling right now, right? So like whenever someone is cursing you like that, "Oh, don't do this, don't do that," instead of fighting them back, let's just educate them because I believe that educating people will make our community even more better than to make it more toxic to the other fans or to the other people. So I think yeah, that's what I also learned to P James and also staying with RP. It's also to educate the people and not to fight them back with an immature manner, right? Be professional, be matured, just educate them on what you know that will help them understand because I believe that those people who really bash you, who really throw shades on you, they're I think something is missing in their daily life, and that is like respect, happiness, love. But for me, as under the LGBTQIA plus community and staying with RP, I said that let's just spread love, give love to those people who really need it, and to understand where are we coming from, because that exactly what we need to do because I believe that love is the most powerful armor that we have on our daily lives, and also to stay positive on our life, not in COVID, but in our life and our vibes. Stay positive on your life, not in COVID. Okay, so stay safe.
Yeah, yeah. And I think we've seen that like with the rise of these shows and the popularity worldwide that you guys have seen too with Reykantophany growing as much as it has. I mean, I feel like that's the main conversation is that it's nice to see stories being told about love and there's no box that they're putting it in. It can look any different way. It can be explored in many different formats. So I think that's such an important conversation to have, and it's interesting to see in lots of different cultures around lots of different things. So moving on, you guys have announced a fan gathering for 2022, which oh my gosh, we're
Oh my
so
gosh.
jealous.
We need to come. Maybe this is our trip to the Philippines.
Maybe. As soon as it's safe, we are piecing out and going to Asia and going to all of Asia because you guys have all the things going on. So what are you most excited about this fan gathering and bringing the boys to the fans and the fans to the boys?
In real life.
Oh, I think Pigeons will answer it first. Look at
You're
his
so excited,
face.
James. I can see you, James. You are so excited.
Yeah.
Yes, actually, we are very excited to finally bring to our Raikans what we call as the Raikan Fan Con. It's the biggest and grandest gathering of BL fans here in the Philippines. Um, it's a 3 day event, actually. It's a 3 day event wherein all fans will have this interactions, a concert. It's a jam packed event, and one of the things that we will be doing in the fan con is to let fans talk to the people behind the scenes. We've invited writers, directors as well for a forum about the BL industry itself, and that's something that I'm excited about because I want to also inform fans to be responsible fans as well, and of course educate them on what is really going on in the BL industry, and for us very important. And of course have fun with each other. We've prepared a lot of activities for the fans wherein they will be able to experience what other people will experience in Thailand. So we have the Star and Moon competition for fans clubs. Um,
Fun.
we will be also having the welcome dinner with the guest artist. Imagine yourself having dinner with your favorite BL actor. So there are 54 BL actors that will be going here in the Philippines from all
Wow.
over the world.
So fun. Really excited. And I love that this is a new thing that's happening because these sort of cons, usually we see in like Alli, you're a K-pop fan, so you know this. We see this for K-pop, right? And we see this for these like
Yeah.
big movements. And so I love that like BL is this big movement now,
Yeah.
right? It's so cool.
Yeah, and I think it's a also again it's a pressure for us in Top in the Philippines if we will be able to pull it off. But again, we're glad to have partners who will help us
Yeah.
really establish this event, and we are very positive that it will draw a lot of fans together because again the event is all about convening everyone, and of course like enjoying everyone's company, and we're excited for this experience, and we are just more than fortunate enough to be trusted as well with the artists for them to be in our event. So we are to announce the event soon. Who will be the guest artist? And I'm sure you will also be shocked because some of the guest artists you have already talked to. So um,
Whoa. hints, dropping hints.
so so I'm sure that you'll be excited when we will finally reveal the show to everyone and
Love
who
it.
And
will be
so
the guest.
when can listeners expect that? When should they be looking at the social media and all the places?
Ooh, I think by February we will already start releasing the list of names of the show, but the ticket selling will start by March.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Perfect. So, last but not least, and we've talked about this a little bit already, we love when y'all teach some Tagalog to the actors. So, can you teach us some fun phrases? We will do our best. We are always trying to learn languages. So, we're going to do
Yeah,
our best.
I've pulled a few lyrics from like Zach Tabudlo songs. Like,
I have a bunch of Zach Tabudlo songs memorized. I'm obsessed with Zach Tabudlo.
Wow.
Truly obsessed with this man.
I would, when my friend from the Philippines came to visit me for Thanksgiving, I would just look at her and go, "Buso iyong iyo." You know, the things
You know, from Young Yo. I have all of Nangangamba memorized. So I can say the words, but like I have no idea what they
Yeah,
mean.
no
So
clue.
we're hoping you guys can teach us some words and then we'll actually know what they mean.
Yeah.
All right. So
Ooh.
for this segment, this particular segment, the expert, of course, for the Raika Live experience, because we have divided the segments to ourselves, me and Ali. So it's Ali who often do this in the show. So Ali, go for it.
Yes.
Okay, so I have a few here prepared for this because I know that learning some language is a way of being fun or keeping yourself busy, right? So this is very popular in the Philippines, which means long live. So whenever you come to the Philippines, this is what you're always gonna hear every day. So it's mabuhay.
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 Nice.
Yeah. But we also do it with a hand gesture, which is mabuhay.
Oh my gosh.
Mabuhay.
Love it.
You know, like
How did we
someone
do?
competing in a Miss Universe, like you will say mabuhay like that.
Oh, we are
Okay,
100%
so
just gonna walk around the house and say that from now on.
Yeah, so whenever
mabuhay.
you go when you will go here in the Philippines, for example, we'll meet at the airport. The first thing that you're going to say to us is mabuhay. So it means long
Love
Mabuhay.
live.
it.
Yes, when we meet at the
Mabuhay.
fan gathering, we're
Yeah.
gonna walk in and we're gonna say
Mabuhay.
Mabuhay.
Yeah, very
Yeah,
good.
very good. Mabuhay.
Love
Okay,
it.
so for the next one, it means happy. Happy. Okay, so in the Philippines, if you want to say happy, you'll say masaya.
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 Masaya. But you will gonna say it in a fast manner. Masaya.
Masaya.
Masaya. Yeah,
Love
it means happy. It means like you're happy. Masaya.
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 Okay. So
I-
can I see those beautiful smiles whenever you say masaya in one,
Masaya.
two? Okay, masaya.
We're really excited all the time.
We're
We're
Masaya.
Masaya.
Yes, we're always masaya, and I can see that, and I can feel it here in the Philippines.
Oh,
Okay, so for the next one, this is how we say I love all of you. Okay, so it's mahal ko kayo.
Mahal
Yeah.
ko kayo.
Yeah, it
Ma-
means I love all of you.
Mahal ka kayo.
Yeah, mahal ko kayo.
Kayo.
Yeah.
Mahal
So you can
ko
also say it to
kayo.
your listeners like, hey, to our listeners, just always remember mahal ko kayo. It means like I
Yeah,
love
true.
all of you.
Nice.
Mahal ko
Yeah.
kayo.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
Can
cannot
you
wait to
say
have
it?
more Pinoy actors on now. We're just gonna say all that.
Yeah. Okay, so one more. I'll just say it together, okay? In 1, 2, 3, go.
Mahal
ko
ko kayo.
Yes.
Wow.
But wait, because we really, really love our Raikans and we dedicate our success to them. So can we just say mahal ko kayo Raikans?
Yes.
Yes.
Ooh.
Mahal
Okay.
ko
kayo
kayo Raikans.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay, so for the next one, this is very helpful whenever you meet your Filipino friends. Okay, so this is how you say how are you to them. So you will say kumusta.
Kumusta?
Kumusta. Yeah,
Kumusta?
like kumusta.
Ko-
Like kumusta.
Kumusta?
Like how
Oh,
are
this is
you?
so easy for me. I speak Spanish, and so in Spanish, ¿cómo está? So, ¿cómo está? It's just like a little different,
Kumusta.
like
Yeah.
Yeah.
different.
Actually, it's like from the Spanish. It's it's as what I mentioned earlier, we were colonized by the Spaniard people before, so it's in our culture.
Yeah, ¿cómo
There.
Yeah.
está? Ooh, I'm
Kumusta?
excited.
Love it.
Yeah. So, kumusta? And for the next word, this is how you describe yourself. It is beautiful. Okay, so in Filipino, we say maganda.
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 Maganda means beautiful. And you're maganda. Both of you are maganda.
Thanks.
Yeah. But if you will
Amazing.
say it directly to yourself, like I am beautiful, you will say maganda ako.
Maganda
Maganda
ako.
ako. Look in the
Yeah, it
mirror. It's going to be our mantra.
Yes. Love it.
maganda ako. Okay? Okay, let's do it again in together, okay? 1, 2, 3, go.
Maganda ako.
Yes, we agree.
Amazing.
Okay.
I think
Amazing.
I just want to have a weekly call with Allie where he just like tells me I'm beautiful
I
and
know.
teaches me to love
Perfect.
myself.
I
Okay,
would
I have
love
a
to.
question.
Mm,
I have a question
okay.
about kumusta, right? Because you know how like in English if we were to say like how are you, it could be flirty. Like you could be flirting with someone, right? You could be like,
Hey, how are
"Hey, how
you?
are you?" Right?
Hey.
So, is it the same? Like could you use that to flirt with someone? So like let's say we have a Pinoy actor on the podcast
Okay.
and you want to throw a little pickup line out
The
there.
dream one day
Could
is
you
to
use
have
it?
Kahoy on the show, and when
Kahoy
he logs
DeSantis.
on, we got to be able to
We gotta be able to
put it
like,
on.
Okay. So I think you're just gonna flirt with your expression with your face, like kumusta? Like
No.
that's what I
that
wanted to
eyebrow
know.
that eyebrow movement and the smirk on the side, like kumusta?
That's why
You
that's
know,
why I keep laughing, because there is one way to say it actually that is flirty, because we have this we have this thing in the Philippines wherein we replace all of the vowels with letter E just to make it sound flirty. So it would be kemeshte, like that. So
kumusta?
you will replace it with letter E. Kemeshte ke? Ganun. How are you?
Yeah.
Kamusta ka? So instead of saying
And
kamusta ka, you will say kemeshte ka, and then you'll do
kumusta?
like that.
Oh my gosh, that's
I
so
am
fun.
obsessed with
It
this.
feels like you're melting while talking to that specific
Oh,
person. You will say,
yeah.
"Kamusta?"
I am
Yeah.
obsessed with this. This is
So
my new
cool.
favorite word. This is
Okay,
truly my new favorite word.
can you say it like "Kamusta"?
Go for it.
Kemeshte.
Amazing.
Like
Actually, all of the
Louis,
words, for
like
example, if you're speaking to your
"Kamusta."
crush and then you will talk to your crush, all of the words you will just change it into a vowel, the vowel to letter E, that it will
Genius.
here in the
That's
Philippines it will sound flirty.
I love it.
so
And here's
interesting.
why, because I love throwing random stuff like that into interviews. I don't know if y'all do this too, because so for example, with Om and Nanan,
Casual.
Nanan was being very cool. He's being a very cool boy. And so I threw a little like pickup line out at him and he
Ooh.
cracked up and he started laughing, right?
Yeah.
Because it was like I was obviously joking. And so I'm real excited to try this tactic on the next Pinoy actor we get. And now that I have the words,
Yes.
I'm
Oh,
very excited.
remember
about
that.
it.
Remember that.
Yes.
Kamusta?
Yeah. It's
I
going to
love
be
that.
amazing.
That's amazing. Okay, I feel like we should end on that note because
We should.
truly that was the most incredible lesson, language learning lesson, culture lesson. It has been such a pleasure to talk to you guys and to get to know Reykantophany Philippines more and to get to know you guys more, our favorite hosts of truly some of the best BL related fan content out there. So people should definitely go follow you guys. Where can they follow you guys?
Oh, we're almost in every platform. We have Facebook, Reykantophany Philippines, and YouTube is still Reykantophany Philippines. Our Instagram, and our TikTok account is at Reykantophany Philippines, and of course, we also have our Twitter and our Kumu app, which is in the Philippines, a streaming platform in the Philippines. So it's at Reykantophany PHL. So that's where they can follow us.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Well, thank you again for being here with us today. And if you're listening along with us, don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, and keep up with all things Let's Talk BL at Let's Talk BL. We will see you next time.
Bye.
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 Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Bye.